just want to do a quick walkthrough of where we're up to on the app that we're building and testing down here in Shellharbour. This is the desktop version. There is also the mobile app version, so we support OS X on Mac, Windows, Android, and iOS for iPhone, as well as iPad OS for iPads. Anyway, we have a bit of a design change. We're testing multiple designs right now, so you'll see a few different concepts in there. It will all be streamlined before it's released. A few things you won't see is we have API mapping, so we can communicate with NewBook and other software like Dayforce for certain functions. We have built in on notifications. We've got notifications working, and we've built in the right to disconnect laws as well in a feature that I call Gatekeeper. There's ways to bypass it within the software settings, and there's also, it can be set at the moment by automatic shift duration ends, or people can actually shut it down here so they're not getting notifications when they're on break or if they've gone home for the day. There is, as I said, there are ways to bypass it. So if a manager always needs notifications, in the user setting that can be activated so they always get notifications. Now, we are going to be depreciating this task module. This is just a bit of housekeeping. This will probably be depreciated and put on as a widget to the maintenance app, because we can connect tasks to jobs, and it can be really handy when you've got more than one person working on a particular job, and each of them have to do different tasks, and that's how this gets used the most, but it's really only used in that scenario. We do have the foundation for housekeeping routing, so that's where the zones comes in. This is, as I said, it's the foundation for it. Still have to write the logic for it, but it's not a high priority for Shellharbour because we are a small property with a small team. However, that is in the works for you because I know it's an important one. Now, dashboard's going to probably end up being more of a head office dashboard, which we'll build some analytics into. But until the rest of the app's finished, it's just going to be a basic count and a few little functions. Now, front office is a brand new module. It allows us to record guest feedback, all customizable. So we have added in Wi-Fi there because that is something, a pain point. Booking ID is also going to be an option here in the future. We can connect it to particular locations around the property. And once booking ID is in there, it will be connected to specific bookings. We do have inventory management working, and this allows us to scan or get a photo of the document, upload it, and have the inventory count change based on the details in that document in the back end. Again, this is about linen management, so if someone wants an extra towel or an extra linen, we can actually select how much they're taking and adjust the inventory count in the back end. Previously, the app was built on importing housekeeping tasks. Now we're importing booking details. Now we're not bringing in any personal details from guests. It's the basic booking ID, where they're staying, arrival, departure date, and number of guests, and that's all we're bringing in. You'll see that there's a link here for the booking ID that will open up into NewBook to the booking page, as long as you're logged into NewBook, of course. Now, arrivals does have a check-in or arrived guest feature that is just so we can manage the keys. So when that gets clicked, it automatically issues one key to the guest. When you depart them, right here, it will ask you how many keys are returned. If they've taken off and they've left the key in the room, you'd put 0, and then it will come up as missing until the housekeepers find it. And in the housekeeping app, they'll be able to mark the key as returned right there. Now, we do again have departed, and all is there's one feature here that's just been so handy. You can select the date, and every booking connected to that date, whether it's an arrival date, a departure date, or in between, will show up without having to do all sorts of different searches, and you'll pick up everything regardless of length of stay for that date. Key management has changed, so these are all our checked in bookings, and we can just click log lost for the key. It'll move it to missing, where there'll be an option where it says returned key, and then the other option is replaced key, and it will tag that so we know whether or not we need to actually charge the guest, and it will attach it to the booking information as well. Now, through the master stock, we can keep track of our key stock, so we know when we need to cut more, and we can increase and decrease as we need to. Moving forward, maintenance has not really changed, except for this reportable feature. So you can turn it on and it will be included in the report, and you can turn it off and it will not be included in the report. Handy for things like if I'm putting something like we're mowing the annuals today. You don't want to know about that, so we can just make it non-reportable from the beginning. We will be adding a grounds section talking about mowing annuals, where we can set up our schedules and things like that, tasks outstanding, recurring tasks, things like that. Now, housekeeping. You may have noticed that this hasn't really changed much from where I popped into it before. We can now assign specific users to housekeeping job tasks. This is set up more for the routing, where we will have an option to automatically assign rooms to housekeepers that are due to be working. Again, where Dayforce may come in handy for actual scheduling data, so we know what the housekeeper is supposed to work, and we can automatically assign that housekeeper on the day. The other thing that that's really handy is the holdover task. So if we've got an out of order room, we can mark it as a holdover room and it will automatically turn it to a departure clean. If it's already been fully cleaned, we could just have it as a touch up. And every single day that it's out of order, that it's on holdover, it'll just pop up as a holdover task down the bottom, completely out the way. It doesn't affect the man hours, but it does give us a bit of control to make sure that we know where everything's up to, that's a holdover. And if something drops in, let's say it's repaired and suddenly we get booking in the middle of that holdover period, it'll automatically upgrade the holdover to a pending task, and it will cancel the rest of the holdover chain. Facilities is got a behind the scenes update, but we haven't started using the new functionality. Basically, if a hard due date is not met, it will mark it as failed and create the next in the recurring task. We can still connect facilities tasks up to maintenance tasks for coordination. And as far as lost property goes, it is still the same. We'll be removing the keys, and this whole pill here will just go because we don't need that keys management, the key section there. We've got our own key management now for that stuff. Now, going into inventory, this is another new module. And again, trying to keep it quick, but we can do full stock taking of different types of stock, linen and consumables, compliance and serialized assets. What's important about linen is that there's 4 options: rented, owned and laundered inside in-house, owned and laundered externally, and a mixture. So you could have all 3 of those, and they'll all be managed in the same process. Stock taking is very straightforward. The report will tell us any variance. This is actually a first time count, so everything's pretty much a variance. Anything showing as 0 is because it's open at the moment, and we've got no closed boxes of those consumables. Staff can actually request to order things. When they click add, it just goes straight to the existing draft order. If there's no draft order, it'll create it. It won't automatically process like our linen will. It is organised by category as well to make life a bit easier. Now, then we have forecasting. This is what the system thinks that we need to order based on the current stock take to get us to minimum order levels. So we can always recalculate it if we think it might be wrong, and it will freshly check it. We can have different delivery dates or receive dates. This needs to be changed to for receipt on or something like that. Now we can also select forecasting by supplier, so really handy, especially for linen because it is automated. So I can pop in here and see what we're expecting the system to do. However, if there is an order that's a forecast that where we think, okay, we better actually order that, we can just save it as a draft order and manually issue it. Now we can see all our orders here. So we have a draft order, which we can approve, we can amend, we can cancel. Once we approve it, it asks us if we want to send it, and then we click yes, and it will email it straight to the supplier. Once it's emailed, we get to the sent status, and again, we can amend it, we can scan the docket for delivery, we can enter the received quantity, confirm the delivery, or we can cancel the order. If there's been an email already sent out, it will automatically send an email to say it's cancelled. If there's no email that's been sent out, then it won't send an email saying it's cancelled. Just cleaning it up the way that it was originally set up. Then once it's received, it will actually tell us if there's a shortfall like there was here, or whether we received the right amount. This is based on the delivery dockets. We can undo a receiving, however, it's not recommended. When it's amended, by the way, I forgot to show you can change whether it's a delivery or and what date it's supposed to come in, because the other option is pick up. So we do have pick up for the council and delivery for Flagstaff. Reports is the same engine that we had before, pretty straightforward. The templates are super handy, so the maintenance report I do each month, outstanding jobs with council that I do each month. The other one that's going to come up from this month will be a feedback report for the last month. That's the feedback that we received in person. We do have all our saved reports, and that's why I've got duplicates here. They're not really duplicates. One will be the maintenance report, one's going to be the outstanding jobs report, and then we'll have the feedback report on top of it. And just back to the admin, we have a lot of granular and general control here. So it's just trying to be as logical as possible and as straightforward as we can be with it. If you have any questions, let me know. Any feedback on what you think might look good with design, I'm all ears, and we'll talk about it all a bit later. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.